Awesome. So go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Just for a moment, we won't be sitting for long enough to settle and center and find that connection of your breath. Your breath is that connecting tool. So as you find a long spine, and begin to take a breath that is full and deep. Let yourself notice all the places in your body that are affected by your breath. And now in particular, start to notice your breath expanding into your belly, your ribs, and then your chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, move your breath back through your chest, ribs, and belly. Inhale to expand those three parts. And exhale to release those three parts. And now draw hands to connect at heart center. And as you take your next couple of breaths, same movement into and out of those three parts. Let's start to tune into a pause at the top and at the bottom. Just a very short pause to allow yourself to notice that space. And then as you exhale this time, bow towards your heart, honoring yourself for this time spent this morning. And now softly allowing your eyes to open, release your hands down.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, go ahead and mute yourself if you just popped on. Walk your hands up to your upper inner thighs and give a little push. And as you push, lift up and open through your shoulders. And now just a little bit of movement here, head and neck, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Then shake your head no. And nod your head yes. And then back into center, switch the cross of the legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Shift your sitting bones. And hands out to your knees and start a little movement here in a cat and cow so you can move through the entire spine. Feeling that inhale, expanding your front body forward. Feeling that exhale, expanding your back body back. Full inhale, long, deep exhale. Starting to find a little freedom of movement from pelvis all the way up to your crown. Again, if you just popped on, make sure to mute yourself. Full big breath. And then as you come back into center now, go ahead and shift forward on the hands and knees. And from hands and knees, we're going to start here with just a little bit of core. As I said, as we were chatting, just a little bit. We don't need 30 full minutes of core, right? So as you set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, create a strong rooting of your palms and fingertips. So notice that part of your palm that likes to pop up when we're on our hands. It's usually that part that's attached to your first finger. So press it down more and root your fingertips. And then rotate elbow pits forward, so upper arm bones are rotating. push, expanding into the upper back. And now give a little tilt of your pelvis so sitting bones are lifting up. And then engage your low belly without losing that tilt. So you're keeping a lumbar curve. Engage the ribs up into the back body. Try to keep this position of your spine. Reach back with your right leg behind you and your left arm forward. Take a full big deep breath here. And as you breathe, push down more with your standing hand and think of lifting your ribs up higher. As you rotate your back leg so that your toes are turning more down, your inner thigh is lifting up. Lift your whole leg a little higher, but tone your low belly. Lift your rib cage a little higher, and then exhale, set both hands, both knees down. And now pause again here, set yourself up. Set a strong connection with your foundation. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Think of lifting through the ribs. Tilt sitting bones up and engage the low belly. Start to stretch back with your left leg. Right arm reaches forward. And then notice a push into your hand to help you lift even more through your ribs. Rotate your toes down, inner thigh up, and lift your leg higher. Keep toning through the core. Take another full, big, even breath. And exhale, both hands, both knees. Come back down. Inhale, belly releases down toward the ground. Exhale, round your spine upward. One more this way, full inhale. Long, deep exhale. And now back into center. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. And then as you work your back knee back, finding a little more length through your back thigh, start to create a centering with the hips. So draw back with your right hip a little bit. Push down with your back knee so you have a little lift through your upper thigh. And then bring hands to hips to rise up. And as you rise up, press down into your hips and lift your sides. Hug your elbows back, shoulder blades are engaging. And now engage your core here. Low belly, ribs engage, and lift up even higher through your heart. Think instead of going back, think of lifting your collarbones and your chest upward. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Step back into a hands and knees position and step left foot forward. And as you find that lunging position here again, work your back knee back as far as you need. Center with your hips. Create that push down with your back knee so that your hip isn't sinking on the right side. And then lift up. Hands to hips. Press down longer through your sides. Shoulder blades engage, and then engage your core. Low belly and ribs engage. Inhale, lift your heart up higher. Full exhale, strong through the core. And releasing hands down. As you settle back onto hands and knees, set yourself up. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Tuck toes under and lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog pose. Pedal out a couple times here, bending one knee at a time. And then as you settle into the center, look at your hands and notice that part of your palms that wants to pop up and press it down more. From that place, rotate elbow pits more forward and push from lats out through your hands. Send your sitting bones further up. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press back on hips, lift shoulders up and back, elbows hug upward, and rise all the way up to stand. And from your standing position, set yourself up. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. And now inhale, reach arms up overhead. Exhale, hips settle into your chair pose. And as your sitting bones move back, think of growing a little light on your toes here. So your shins are moving back, but keep your toes rooted. Take a full big breath, and as you send sitting bones up and back, tone low belly, tone your ribs. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant your fingertips. You're stepping right foot back into your lunge. And inhale, reach up and rise. Center with your hips and settle in. And as you lift your chest a little higher, lifting up through your heart space, tone through the core. Full big deep breath. Exhaling, hands come down to the front of your mat. And let's get in a little bit of hamstring work here. So work your front leg towards straight. Big toe mound is pushing down. Wrap back with your left hip. Right knee bends and send both sitting bones up. Extend your heart forward here. Full big deep breath. Then inhale, bend into your front knee and step forward. Exhale, left foot steps back into your lunge. Inhale, reach up and rise, coming to your lifted lunge. And again, center with your hips. And as you lift up higher with your heart, lifting your chest, tone through the core. Find that engagement of low belly and ribs. Full big deep breath. Exhaling, hands come down to the front of your mat. Again, find whatever you're using for blocks and work your front leg towards straight. Big toe mound pushes down. Wrap your right hip back. Left knee bends. Send your sitting bones up. Longer spine, take another full big breath. Then inhale, bend into your front knee and step forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Bend your knees, pushing hips back. Inhale, lift your heart up for your chair. And as you come to your chair, think of rotating inner thighs in, back, and broad. So your sitting bones are moving back and apart. Settle deeper with your hips. Arms can stay lifted here if you would like, or wherever it feels best in your body. But take a couple more deep breaths and begin to find that engagement with the core. Push into the ground and inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands come to your heart. With your eyes closed, take a moment for a full breath. Evening out the breath, letting the breath calm the nervous system. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bent knees, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, lift up into your chair pose. Exhale, take right hand to left knee or thigh, left hand to your hips. You have a little bit of a twist in your chair. Keep knees even, settle hips down and back. And as you twist, avoid letting your right knee come forward. Try to keep it even and level. Lift your chest. Take an exhale, draw your ribs in to help you twist a little more. Inhale back into center. And exhale, take that twist over to the right side. And again, as you lengthen, tone the ribs to help you twist. Settle hips down just a little more, even with your knees. Inhale back into center. And exhale, fold over your legs. Plant your fingertips, right foot steps back into your lunge. Back knee up or down, your choice. Inhale, reach up and rise. And we're going to come to a twist here. So center with your hips. Release your right hand to your left knee or thigh, left hand to your hip. Press down and find lots of lift. As you lift up with your heart, draw ribs in to help you twist more. And then if you want to, you can take elbow down to your knee. Hands can connect here if you want. Pressing palms together, lifting hard up to your hands. Draw both shoulder blades onto your back. Take another full big breath. Then exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat, and you're finding your blocks, working your front leg towards straight. And now, right hand sets on your block, left thumb into your hip crease. Press your hip crease, get back, and before you twist too far, tilt both sitting bones up. And then begin to revolve. Turn your belly, turn your heart toward the left side. Both shoulder blades are on your back. And then if you find that your shoulders are opening, feel free to stretch, left arm up. Full big breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Bend into your front knee and step forward. Next exhale, fold as deeply as your body needs over your legs. Planting fingertips, step left foot back into your lunge. Inhale, lift up and rise, coming to your lifted lunge. Center with your hips here, and then start to reach across. Left hand to right knee or thigh, right hand to your hip, and think of wrapping your right hip back and down. From this place, as you lift up higher with your heart tone, especially through the upper part of your core, through the ribs. And then you're welcome to set. Elbow down, maybe stack hands on top. You're always welcome to stay lifted with your torso instead. But press down here, press down through the elbow, press down through the hands, and physically lift your ribs and lift your heart towards your hands. Shoulder blades on your back. Take another full breath. And exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Come to the highest points of your blocks here and work your front leg towards straight. And then you're placing left hand underneath your shoulder, right thumb into your hip crease. Push your big toe mound down even as you push your right hip back. Extend your heart forward and begin to revolve. Turn your belly and heart to the right. Tilt both sitting bones up. And then if your shoulders are opening, maybe stretch, right arm to the sky. Deep breath. Exhaling, both hands come down, bending into your front knee, and settle all the way back onto your knees. Take a child's pose. As you take a couple big breaths here, shift and move. Give yourself the information of what's going on inside. And now gently push yourself up to your seat. And you're going to come around to sitting all the way on your sitting bones, legs out in front. And now footprints to the ground in front of you. And so we did this last week. I don't do our boat pose very often because I find that it tends to be a little bit more challenging to keep the lumbar spine in a really healthy place. So take one hand at your low back. And as you tilt your pelvis forward, feel it lifting up, okay? So that action of lifting up through the lumbar helps you to be longer through your spine and not collapse. So now, keep that. Walk your hands behind you a little ways, but then retilt your pelvis so your belly is coming forward. Open and expansive through your chest. And then from this place, you can rock back onto your sitting bones, lifting legs up if you want to, or you can keep your toes or your feet all the way down. But re-engage that tilt. Lift your pelvis. Take a full big breath right here. And if it feels good and you can keep that lift through your pelvis, through your belly, then feel free to lift your arms. Take a big deep breath. And good is relative. Does it feel good? I don't know. Some people think it does. I think it just feels like a challenge, which is not a bad thing. Take a big deep breath. And now set feet on the ground and take soles of feet together into a butterfly. We'll do a little counter pose here. So in your butterfly, again, that pelvis tilting action is important, belly coming forward. So find that for yourself, even if that means bringing your feet a little further forward, okay? As you find that, if then a hinge at the hips to fold is in your practice, you can go there. If that's not in your practice, if that just makes your low back round back, then stay a little more lifted. Big breath. And then rising all the way back up, set footprints on the ground, and we're going to take this bow pose or this boat pose one more time, Navasana. And as you take your boat pose, start off with fingertips behind you and tilt your pelvis so your belly's moving towards your legs. Keep that length even as you rock back and maybe start to lift your legs. And where that is for you, engage your feet, hug in with the muscles of your legs, and remember you can always keep your toes lightly touching here or your feet all the way on the ground. Take a big breath, tilt your pelvis again, and then if you want to, you can reach. Now, last possibility here is if you would like, you can take a hold of ankles or peace fingers on big toes to work legs towards straight. This becomes a little bit more wobbly, which is a part of where the core is. As you find that place, your belly tilts toward your legs. Shoulder blades are engaged. Full breath. And then gently bend your knees, feet to the ground, soles of feet together. One more butterfly. And again, find that position for your feet, close or far, depending on where it is you need to be for your belly to be tilting forward. And then if that position for your pelvis is in your practice, then maybe find a little fold as well. If not, that's okay too. Sitting upright is still very beneficial. Full deep breath. Inhale, rise all the way back up, footprints to the ground, and then make your way all the way down onto your back. And as you come down onto your back, hug your knees in, rock a little side to side, and take just a moment to notice for yourself, is there anything that showed up in your back body? Sometimes happens when we do our core, we do our best to engage in a way that will make it so there's no pain, no discomfort. Just notice what's there for you. Without any judgment, just take it in. Lengthen the legs straight up, or as straight as your body is ready for. If your hamstrings are tight, that might look a little bit more like this with bent knees. So as you reach through your heels, take a couple big breaths. You can even rest your hands against your belly. But think of tilting your sitting bones down. And even more so, think of letting your inner thighs move toward the wall in front of you. You might see your heels separate a little bit. And take a big deep breath into that space around your low back. And now open your legs up wide. You might take hands underneath your legs here for a little bit of support. Reach out through your heels. And again, tilt your pelvis so your sitting bones are moving down, trying to create that lumbar curve for yourself. And then bend your knees, drawing soles of feet toward each other. You might reach out for your shins here or for your feet, whichever feels the best. But you're coming into this reclined variation of butterfly where your feet are lifted. If that doesn't feel good, then you can set your legs on the ground. But think of opening wide through the knees, tilting your sitting bones down, and take one more big breath. And then gently set footprints on the ground. And drop your knees in together to touch for a moment. Reaching arms up overhead. Take a long stretch here where if you stretch long enough, you might feel that your low back lifts a little bit. You might feel like your ribs want to lift. And then send your breath into your low back. Using your inhales to expand your low back muscles toward the ground. And your exhales to release that. And now walk your feet out wide and drop knees both side to side, both to the left, both to the right a couple times. And then as you come back up to center, start to make your way into a really comfortable rest. Make your way into your Shavasana. Taking the variation that serves you the best right now. Maybe a prop. Maybe a blanket over your pelvis and belly. Maybe come to a meditative seat instead. You get to decide how that looks for you today. Begin to take a deeper breath. Find a little gentle movement in fingers and toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to your side. And begin to slowly push yourself back up to your seat. As you draw hands together at heart center, take a full big breath and let yourself simply be here and notice what's present right now. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.